So if you're trying to track the 1, 4, and 5 in the key of G, first make sure you know where all your G's are. Make sure you can do the G version of the G chord, the E version of the G chord, the D version of the G chord, the C version of the G chord, the A version of the G chord, and up there again, the G version of the G chord. Like, that's like base 1 foundation level. If you don't know that, just work on that for the time being. So that's the idea. You want to get comfortable being able to jump off of a rhythm and find those G chord tones wherever you want. Like, that's foundation, like level 1 stuff, with the cage stuff, of actually being able to use cage. Because it's one thing to, like, say you know caged. That's another thing to actually be able to track these chords up the neck using cage. The cage method is super effective for doing that, but you have to apply it. So yeah, if you're already good, like if you're not good with that, again, play a bar of the G chord, and then just pick a form that you want to get comfortable with. If it's the E form, that E form's right here on the 3rd fret, which you already know that, I'm sure, but the idea is to get comfortable bouncing around from rhythm to single note melodies. So groove for a bar and then throw out some single note melodies in there. And if you're super uncomfortable going up the neck, you can play the rhythm in each section. So if you want to play the rhythm in the E form and then play the chord tones out of that during the next measure, you can do that too. So if you're at this level, it would be a good idea, once you get fairly comfortable with it, to take your hand off the fretboard. So after you groove it, take it off completely. So that way you have to go back and find those single note melodies. That's just going to train your brain and fingers to find those chord tones. So it's going to really harden that information in. And you can do that with each form. So if you want to do it on the D form, you can do the same thing. C form. And if you're pretty comfortable with that, jump around. You want to be able to be like, oh, I'm down here in the G, but I want to go up to a higher register. So you get the idea. You want to be able to jump up and around and be able to locate those G's everywhere. And there's only 5 shapes. And if you want to do it in the 3-note sections, like 3-string sections, that's what I'd recommend. So on each group of 3 strings, you only have 3 options for the G chord. That's it. Like, you got 5 cage shapes, but you'll only have 3 options on each of those string sets to play a G. There's shape 1, there's shape 2 using the D form, and then shape 3 using the A form, and then they repeat again. It's too hard to reach. But yeah, and you'll have those on all the 3 string set, every group of the 3 strings. If I get my words out of my mouth right. But they, again, all come from caged. So those 3-note groupings are in those sections. You'll probably get bored doing the 1 chord, so you'll want to throw the 4 chord in there, like you want to do with 1, 4, 5 anyway. But this is like ground zero, or level 1 foundation is to be able to play the 1 chord of the key, and that's G in the key of G. be able to track that everywhere. Once you can do that, throw the 4 chord in there. And then you can throw the D in there. And just get to a point where you can groove each one of those chords in the 1-4-5 for a bar, and then bounce off and do the chord tone targeting thing. That's one option, but man, you can, this whole idea of grooving for a bar and then adding in whatever technique or whatever melody stuff you're practicing, those options are endless. I would definitely do the chord tones with bluegrass, blues, country, rock. Do the 1, 4, and 5 using the major scale associated with each chord and the minor scale associated with each chord. You get so many mileage out of that. So much mileage out of that. So with the G chord, it's 4 chord. D, the 5 chord. 4. 1. 5 again. So yeah, you can go through the 1, 4, and 5 and chase the major and minor scales up the neck, and do it the same way you did the chords. Stay locally until you have it down, and then just move on to the next section. It's 5 shapes. It takes a good bit of time to get them under your fingers and in your brain, but it's just something to keep working on continuously. I mean, we're always chasing this stuff. Let's see. But yeah, chords, major scale, minor pentatonic, major pentatonic. You can get the blues scale in there too, working that flat 5 in there. And then, if you were working on the morning coffee book, I know he has you do like exercises like thirds and fourths. That's another good thing you can do too, like groove. I'll just do this with, I'll do the major scale, and I'll do the pentatonic and fourths, but you could do groove for a bar in G, and then those are using like the thirds that he does. I mean, try to make it as musical as you can. And then like the pentatonic fourths, this is one that I really like, especially with minor pentatonic. So if we're going to do like a G7. So that's an example of a technique that you could use, groove, and then do the technique. But that's the whole idea of it. You're trying to make musical all these things that you're practicing, chord tones, practicing thirds in sequence or fourths in sequence, or if you want to do chimes of the major scale, like and that's just coming straight from the major pentatonic scale. and you're just trying to make it musical in context to that groove that you've got going on. I hope all this stuff makes sense. I hope it can help kind of get some ideas going. But the whole idea is you groove for a bar, and then for a bar, you add in whatever technique you want to work on for the day. And if it's mainly tracking 1/4s and 5s, then track just the 1/4s and 5s, and really know where those chord tones are, and travel across the neck with it and take your time. Hopefully it helps. Let me know if you want me to dive in deeper on anything in particular. But yeah, hopefully it helps, man.